Hello, beautiful InvoiceShelf community. All right, so this video is for us to look at how to create the custom fields and then how to display said custom fields in the customer invoices. So a lot of people have requested to have an ability to, say, for instance, display an IBAN number inside an invoice, but we don't provide a native way to do it inside the actual application. So, since this is not something that's available by default, you are able to create a custom field that you can then embed into the invoice. However, there are slight issues with regards to how to actually embed it. A lot of people may not know how to code, and so this creates a lot of friction. So, what I thought, even though this is not ideal, and the idea is that this tutorial would become obsolete in the near or maybe further future, so to speak. But the idea is that you create a custom field first inside the settings. And if we create one now, so in this case, I'm going to try and look at different I'm going to try and look at different sort of perspective of where users may want to have their custom fields, and then based mostly based on the issues that were made on GitHub, and then try and sort of create an invoice that might capture all of you. Um, but yeah, the reason I was saying this is not ideal is because, as I said, this requires coding skills, and some people may not know how to code, so it may not be immediately obvious how to actually modify this. So, as I said, ideally, this tutorial will become obsolete maybe by version 3. If it doesn't, well, it's still here, so you can still use it. But yeah, so let's begin. So let's first of all create a custom field. We will start simple. We will start with just simple custom field that will be available on all invoices. So regardless of which customer, regardless of what invoice type it is, it's just going to make it available for all of the invoices and just for the invoices in this case. So I'm going to call it a test invoice field. So test invoice, invoice field. Here comes my dyslexia, apologies. Invoice fields, there we go. Test invoice field, singular. Let's put it inside the invoice model. Now this is important because there are so many different models, including the payments as well. You will want to make sure that when you do actually select the custom field inside the invoice, you will need to make sure that you are pulling from the correct model. Otherwise, you'll just get nothing. So in this case, it's going to be invoice, so that's going to be available only for invoices. Uh, let's make it required. Keep it as a text field, and the label is going to be again test invoice field. We're not going to have any default value for it, and we won't have any placeholders for it. We'll keep it in the first order. So save that. Now we have a test invoice field. So if we go inside invoices, don't mind those errors. It's an alpha release. So because I am currently on 2.2.0 alpha, there are still some issues. This one I think is specifically with MySQL. I haven't seen any other people other than those who are on MySQL uh, complaining about the issue with the pop-up here. Uh, that said, even though the pop-up appears, it doesn't seem to inhibit any issues with the application, so it technically works. So just simply disregard it for now. So we're going to create a new customer, uh, call them test. I'm not going to fill out anything else, just keep it as simple as possible. We already have a field called test, so we'll keep that one. Yeah, sure, we can add some notes. And then at the bottom, there you go, you've got your test invoice field. And then if we currently enter something inside of here, something like test field value, um, and then save, you will see that it doesn't appear anywhere, right? So you can't see it anywhere, and that's intended because custom fields need to be first embedded into the invoice. Now, We do provide some way for you to embed it without going inside the code. That primarily is done through the customization. So if we go inside the customization and then scroll down, you can see the curly or the mustache braces. This is where you can add your custom field. And if you have a look, you've got a company name, so we can ideally, if you can, try and utilize this one. So let me get the correct slug for this field, which is this. So this is the slug, and that's how I'm going to refer to that going forward. So just remember that this weird looking text is called a slug. This is how we refer to the field programmatically. So if I go inside the customization and if I type in the slug between the curly braces, just like all of the other variables, and then save this, save it like so, this would be your simplest way to include a custom field, and I'm not saying it. Hold on, sorry, maybe I have entered it in the wrong place. Let's have a look. Oh, where is it? Oh, it's gone. Fantastic. I haven't saved it. Why do we have so many save buttons? Oh, fantastic. Oh, why? Why did we design it like that? Well, we didn't actually. It's I blame creator. Creator designed it like that. Alright, save. Let's see. Let me refresh the page this time around. Yep, here it is. So if we go inside the invoice and we check the invoice itself, here it is. Yeah. So that's one of the simplest ways to add the custom field inside the invoice. Now, problem is, of course, as you may have noticed, it only appears over here, right? So it only appears under the address. It may not be ideal in your case. In your case, you may want to have it somewhere below the notes, say for instance. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do the hard way or the programmatic way to actually add the invoice custom fields inside the invoice. So, at the custom locations, I should say as well. So with that in mind, we're going to leave the confines of the application and the application UI, and now we're going to head inside the terminal. It is up to you if you want to use the terminal at the later stages when we're going to start editing the invoice, but we do need the terminal at the beginning. So if you're using Docker, you can use something called Docker exec. So the way it's written is you type in Docker, then exec, and then you type in it, so tag it. I call it tag. Technically, it's a hyphen. There it is. So hyphen it, and then after that, you need to type in the container ID. Usually, the first two letters is enough. Sometimes you can even write the name of the container. Usually Docker is clever enough to understand what you mean. So say for instance this Docker container is called InvoiceShelf. Now we can just say in, and then it will figure out which container you actually want. If there is not any other container that starts with in. So if there is more than two containers that start with the same ID or with the same name, you need to make it unique enough that Docker can figure out what to do. And then after that, you need to type in bin bash, and it will once you hit enter, it should ideally bring you inside the container. If you don't know which container it is, you can type in docker ps, and it will list out all of the docker containers and docker images that are available on your host PC. Now in my case, I'm already inside the terminal, so I don't need to do it, but in your case you will. This is for Docker installs. For people who are using traditional hosting, you simply SSH inside of your machine and then navigate to the root of your application. So where you can see all of these files, that's where you need to be. Okay, so what we want to do next is we want to run a PHP make command, so artisan make command, I should say, and then as a subset of the make, we will use a template command. So once you have logged into your, once you have opened an interactive shell in your Docker application, or once you have SSH'd into your host and navigate it to the path of your application, you now need to type in the following command. So that's php artisan and then make. So make will make something, and then we need to type in column to specify what we want to create. And in this case, it's going to be a template. So we're going to type in a template, followed by the name of the template. In our case, it's going to be a custom field because I am going to be creating it in a human readable fashion. I am going to type in the double quotes and then type in custom field. This is the invoice template we will be using for all of the custom field tests. And then once you hit enter, what? Hold on. PHP artisan. Oh, sorry. Typed in artisan correctly. Artisan. There we go. Oh God. All right. Let's see. So now it asks us to create. Now it asks us what kind of template we want to create. Do we want to create an invoice or do we want to create an estimate? So in our case, it's invoice. So I select 0. And once I hit enter, it gives us the path to the invoice template. In our case, if we have a look, it's inside storage, app, templates, PDF, invoice, custom field.blade.php. And once we copy that, which in my case, I think it's control insert, is that correct? Yes. Okay. So once we copy that, here you have two ways you can edit the invoice. You can either, like myself, open a nano editor, which is something that should be built into your operating system if you do traditional hosting, and if you're using Docker, starting from 2.2.0 alpha, you will be able to just run nano. It is available, it's built into the image. So in my case, I'm going to use Nano. You can use something like I think it was WinSCP, or you can use FileZilla, whichever you prefer using for your FTP management. So you can simply log in and edit the invoice. On Docker, you can also from within the host system open the editor and navigate inside the volume where the Docker persistent storage is located. But this is a little bit more complex for Docker, so I'm not going to do it. So I'm going to just simply type in nano and then follow it by the path to the template. The only difference for me is because there is a space. I need to escape the space. All right, and once I do that, I can see the invoice template. Now, the invoice template is just a simple HTML page. So if you aren't certain what you want to edit, my advice to you would be to instead of nano, type in cat. So cat, which will print out the entire contents of the file and then copy it like so. Okay, I'm going to copy it. And then anywhere on the web, there is plenty of available websites where you can do it, but you can use something like JSBin. Um, JSBin, and if we go on JSBin, I think they had the yeah, they do have the available thing. There you go. Yep. So now you can see everything except obviously where you've got the variables that would normally be filled in by the PHP. These will be kept in, but you can see everything as it would normally be visible to you via the preview, except again, all of the variables are not filled in. All right, so this will make it much easier for you to edit. So that's an alternative. So you can quite simply just copy and paste your PHP template, PHP Blade template for invoice in here into the JS bin, and then edit it like that. And then once you edit it, just copy the contents and paste it back into the template. Right. So since we want to add an invoice template, the invoice model, we can quite easily use the example if I can find it. So GitHub, InvoiceShelf, InvoiceShelf. Oops. Ah, there we go. And if we go inside the wiki of the invoice shelf and then workarounds, you can see that I've provided a template for accessing the custom fields inside the invoice blade template. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to add a function. Mind you, this is something that I need to make explicitly clear. This is a workaround. This is not a permanent solution. Ideally speaking, in the future, we will just make available maybe something like this function. So instead of you adding it at the top of the file and then calling it somewhere down the middle inside the file, this is probably going to be gone. We're going to have a nicer way to access the custom fields in the future. But for now, this is a workaround, so therefore we need to use a workaround way to access it easily. So you copy this between the at PHP and then at end PHP. This is just simply a uh, a helper function that I've created. It allows us to easily insert some things that we might want to edit in the future. And of course, yes, and this is one of the drawbacks of the. Okay, fair enough. To be honest, this was just an example, so let me just edit it here. Um, that's one of the drawbacks of things like the paste bin. It pre-formats things for you where you might not necessarily want it to. So once you inserted that, now let's let's pick the place where we want the custom field to appear. So this is where we'll come back to here. So say for instance, we want for the custom field to appear after the notes. So we've got notes, and then after the notes, we want to have our custom field with this value, right? So say for instance, the use case for that would be where you want to have an IBAN that's available for all of the invoices, so that all of your customers who receive the invoice will have the same exact IBAN that they would send the money to. So if we copy the slug, because actually no, before we even copy the slug, we need to have the access function. So this function over here. Now let's go into the JS bin. So we can see that the invoice notes are @lang PDF notes. So if we look for that in the code, probably going to be near the end of the file. Here it is. So we have a check to see if there are notes, and if there are notes, then it adds a notes. If there are no notes, then obviously it doesn't do anything. So we do it after the endif, right over here, like so. So this is where our slug will appear. Now we need to change the slug. So in this case, the slug was, let's have a look. The slug was custom invoice test invoice field. So if we go here and add it like so, oops, still need to have the thing, hold on. There we go. Just like that. And then we're going to change the value here, just like this. Then, oh, hold on, what did I just do? No, that's incorrect. Oh yeah, that's right. So I've copied it using the cut and paste. All right, so now if we save it, it should ideally have changed the invoice template. So if we go back inside here, we're still using the old template, therefore we're not seeing it. But if we go inside invoice edit and then select another invoice, in this case it's custom field. So the reason you can see the reason I actually named it in a sort of human readable manner is because then in in the UI, it actually shows up in a human readable manner. So we select this invoice, pick choose, then we save, and ideally, there it is, right over here. So this could be your IBAN. So I don't, to be honest, I don't really use IBAN because I'm in the UK. We use sort codes and account numbers. But say for instance you're in the UK and you want to have sort code and account numbers. So I could theoretically, this is a single field, so not ideal. But say for instance we have a account number of 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. I can't remember exactly how many numbers there were, and then you have sort code, which is 000000. Oops, 00, something like this, and you can save that, and it will appear on your invoice at the bottom. You might want to use something like a um, maybe a multi-line text field. So if we have a look inside the custom fields, you do have different type of fields as well. So if we edit, yeah, you can't select the type anymore, but for the new, you can have a text area, and for the text area, you can then actually hold on. Say we copy this, we delete this one, create a new one, model for invoice required text area. It's probably have already removed the previous one. Let's have a look. Yeah, so it has removed it, but if we go back inside the invoice, yeah, so now we can actually edit it as a text area. So I can have an account number, and that number can be 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, say for instance. Then I can have a sort code, which is a 000000, and I did 3 zeros again. Save invoice, and et voila. Ah, okay, right. Yeah, so it's still inlined it. But I think uh let's have a look. Maybe this is like a this is probably like a oh, I can't remember. I think you don't have to. Oh, huh. So much for a text field. Yeah, that's not good. All right, it's probably doing some sort of escaping. Yeah, it's doing HTML escaping. This is not ideal for the yeah, this is not ideal for a text area. Okay, well, maybe we'll look at it in the future and just make it a little bit better. But yeah, so this is something that's available to you, right? So you can do that. You can have your account number, your sort code, or if you want to have an IBAN, you can have an IBAN. Now, say now, for instance, that you have multiple clients, and each client will have a separate kind of field. Say, for instance, for each client, you may have a specific number that they should include in on the invoice. So let's go do that. So let's create a new custom field. In this case, it's going to be test customer field, and we're going to have the same one here for customer. Type text. Yeah, sure. Let's have it as text. Let's keep it required, and then save. All right, so now we have a new field that's only for the customer. This is its slug. And if we go inside the invoice that we've just created and then edit it, you can see that that custom field did not appear here. That's intended. So for us to edit the customer model field, we need to go inside the customer. So in this case, the customer is test. So we go inside customers. We find the test customer. Ah, right. Okay, so this is where the issue actually rears its ugly head. Let's see, can I edit the customer from here? I hope I can. Yes, I can. Fantastic. So let's see if I can have a custom field. Do I have a custom field here? That might be a problem. Yeah. Yeah, there is no custom field here. Okay, yeah, that's one of the problems with uh, that is one of the problems with having a nightly builds. You will have issues like that. Okay, kind of thinking I could theoretically show it to you. I could theoretically show it to you in the latest. Let's see. Okay, this one works. Dash. Okay. Right, let's see. Because I have two different versions. I have one for latest and uh one for the nightly. What? There we go. Login. Alright. So if you go inside invoices, we've got a couple of test ones. Let's go inside customer. So let me just quickly recreate the field that we've just created in the other one. So in this case, it's going to be test customer field, hold on, let me just turn off the dark reader. Mind your eyes, it's about to go bright. There we go. Right, so the model is customer, text is fine, that looks good. Required, yes please, save. And here it is. So here's the test field. So if we go inside the invoice, I believe it was this one, edit. So we do have some custom fields, good. Oh yeah, hold on. Is it? Oh, it's invoice one. We do have Hindi. Okay, this is probably when I was creating the video for Hindi. So let me just use that one. Save. Okay, good. So we've got some custom fields in here already. So if I now go inside the customer, say this one was for customer AAA. So we're going to use this one. Edit. Where's the custom field? Where's the custom field? Here it is. Right, so we've got test custom field. So we will add it here. So test customer field value, like so. I'm going to update the customer. So now we have this custom field over here that we can use. And in order to access this field, we need to use the model for customer. Now, this is a workaround. This is not ideal way to do it, but you can access the customer through the invoice model. So, because invoice model contains all of the other models through the relations, you can through the invoice sneakily get inside the customer model and then get the custom field from there. So when we get the customer fields, we're going to use this value over here. So invoice relationship customer. All right. So I'm going to copy that since this is going to be our field, and I am going to go inside the Hindi template. So Nano, do I have Nano here? No, I don't think I do. Okay, this is latest. So if you're on latest, you'll need to do exactly what I'm doing right now. So update, then apt install, apt install Nano. Is this space real? It is. Okay, so that's going to install Nano. And once it installs Nano, we can do Nano storage app PDF, I think it was. PDF. No, not public. PDF. Wait, what? What? App? Oh, right. Go straight to templates. 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 PDF. Then it goes invoice. Hindi. Dot blade. PHP. Yes. All right, here we go. So as you can see, I already have the thing over here. So I'm going to now go down. Now, say for instance, this is the kind of field that we want to have again after the notes. So just like before, we find the notes, the end of notes, which in this case is this, end if, and then we are going to, again, create some curly braces, just like that. And where it says custom field slug, we're going to remove that, and instead add our custom field, which in this case is latest custom field, this one over here. All right, so I'm going to copy that. I'm going to insert it right inside here and then save it. All right, now that I've saved it, I can return back to the invoice shelf, return back to the invoices, select our invoice, and we have a problem. Let's have a look. Probably made a mistake somewhere. Ah, hold on. I think I know the problem is. Let me just double check. Oh yeah, that's probably it. I didn't type in the G. Let's have a look. Yep, that's missing. G, save. Let's refresh. And here you go. There is your test customer field. And this is how you add your fields. If you want to find out, if you're ever unsure what models are available to you, what you can do is this. So do page up, well, in my case, page up, all the way to the top. And then inside here, what you can type is a function called dd. I think, if I recall, it was dd. In Laravel, it has a specific debugging, sort of like a PHP alternative to dump, var dump, but dd, it prints out the result and then it dies. So dump and die, I think that's what it is. That's why it's probably called dd. So what we can do in here is we can type in inside that function invoice, and then once we do and save, if we refresh this page, instead of the invoice, you will see the contents of the invoice module. So in this case, if we have a look, we have quite a few in here, but the one we're interested in is relations. So you can see relations. Inside here, you have an array of 4. So you have 4 relations. You have media, company, customer, and then fields. I think this is where I was getting the values from, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just double check if there was any others. We've got attributes, but these are probably just attributes of this model. Yeah, this is probably just, yeah. Sorry, I'm just checking to make sure that this is indeed the case. Yeah, so we're getting the model, we're getting fields, so I guess it's not even there. There's supposed to be a fields. Let's see. No. Ah, yeah, this is why I was saying this is not exactly friendly for the beginners or people who might not know how to code. And I can't blame them for not knowing, because this is something that you only know once you start editing with once you start dealing um with PHP. Why am I not seeing it? Am I just blind? I'm probably just blind. Supposed to be an attribute for fields. Oh well, I'm not going to spend too much time. I did get there somewhere. So yeah, there's supposed to be a field for well, a relation field. Actually, hold on. Could it be that I'm just stupid? I probably am just stupid. Uh yeah, it's probably just inside fields. Probably just inside here. Yeah, sorry. No, that's right. I think that's the thing. A model has fields, and then fields has attributes. I don't think we can access it, can we? Oh no, we can. Yeah, so the invoice in itself has one field. There it is. Yeah, custom field value, and then the actual value in this case is visible. Is it even filled in? It might not. It might not be filled in. That's why I'm probably not seeing it. Actually, attributes. It should be attribute. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, default value test field, and then if we want to have something for the customer, which is what we're doing, we go into the customer, then we go inside the relation, inside the fields, then we go inside the items. We have two variables or two custom fields, and again we go inside the attributes, and there you go. We've got attribute 1 and we've got attribute 2, like so. And that's how you access it. So if you need to get something from inside the customer, you would need to do that. I do apologize. I can't really do anything about it until we actually expose the functionality through the invoice templating engine. This is unfortunately how you're going to. This is the only way for you to actually kind of right now get the values. There is also custom fields for items, I believe. Let me just double check. I could be talking out of my backside. Let's check settings, custom fields. Uh, is there? Yeah, there isn't. All right. Yeah. So there isn't a custom field for the items, but once we do have it, it probably will appear over here. Will be accessed very similarly. Well, if we don't fix the whole issue with accessing the custom fields, probably going to be accessed in a very similar manner, where you would have an invoice relationship to the item, relationship to the field, and then the field attributes. So that's essentially it. I hope it was somewhat useful for most of you. If you do have questions, don't ask me. Okay, jokes aside, if you do have questions, do drop them down below. I hope this was somewhat cohesive. I did get a little bit bored by the end of it, but yeah, I hope it was useful. All right, well, have a good day, everyone, whichever time of the day you have, and I'll see you next time. Take care.